A lovely welcome. And y'all can probably tell, you two can tell where I'm from, yeah? Well, maybe all of y'all can tell where I'm from. I'm from the USA. And even though I sound like I voted for Trump, I didn't. Oh, man. Anybody else from the USA/Romania? Oh, we did. Oh, the reluctant American. I know, we're just not proud like we used to be. Which part are you from? From California. Okay, well, that makes sense. Californians move around. I myself am from Georgia, and we don't get out much, but I made it out. I did. So, yeah, I made it out. But back in Georgia, we have some funny sayings in the South. For example, if I was misbehaving, my mama might say, "Hey, stop that, or I'm going to jerk a knot in your tail." You see, in the South, we have tails because of the inbreeding. But you're laughing right now. But I bet everybody in here has probably had a sex dream with a relative involved. Think about it. And you woke up and you were like, not as good as the real thing. No, just me? Sorry y'all don't have awesome brothers. Okay. But besides funny sayings, my mama also taught me to be grateful, so I count my blessings and I put them in a gratitude journal. Anyone here have a gratitude journal? Oh, you do? And what are you grateful for? Go ahead. You're grateful for every day and little things. All right, give it up for a basic answer, everybody. So, yeah. No, thank you for sharing. And as for the rest of you not having a gratitude journal, my mom is probably in heaven right now looking at you thinking you're all a bunch of ungrateful bastards. I'm joking, there's no heaven. But I do wish there was a heaven, because my mama passed away a couple years ago. And it's really hard when you lose someone you love, especially someone that close. You start asking questions, especially when it's your mom, like, who's going to make dinner? But she fought this horrible autoimmune disease for a long time, and towards the end of her life, it got pretty grim. I was living overseas at the time, and she would call me up on the phone, and she would say, "Christy, I don't want to live anymore. I'm ready to die. I'm ready to go to heaven." But every time my little sister would hold the pillow over her face, she would fight back so hard, which I think is horrible because it feeds into the stereotype that women are indecisive. She laughed at it too, okay? She was a very religious woman. She raised me quite religiously. So religiously, in fact, when I first got my period, she gave me a thick pad to use because she said tampons were for whores. So I grew up my teenage years wearing this really thick pad, but when I got to university, I was curious. I wanted to try a tampon. I'd seen the commercials. You could go rock climbing, swimming anytime you wanted, even be a CEO. Is that your secret? I know what you're into. So step number 1, I became a whore. And step number 2, I bought a box of tampons. I took them back to my room. I opened them up. I shoved one into my flower, and oh my, the first time having the devil's cotton finger deep inside your pleasure hole, sucking out all the moisture, it is not nice at all. So I yanked on it because I didn't want it in there anymore. But what nobody ever told me is you can't do a dry run on a tampon. I know, I blame my parents because they're related. But I am grateful for her. I'm grateful for her teaching me to be grateful because it's in the small things. For example, when I took a plane to come here, I got the middle seat, which meant not only did I make one new friend, but two new friends, thankful. And at night, when I lay down on my back to go to sleep, I'm thankful that my tits keep my armpits warm. But I have to tell you guys that one of the things I'm most thankful for is that in all of my years of making love to different people of different backgrounds, not always safely, lots of different people, I'm what society might label a giver. And in all of my years of giving, I have never once gotten pregnant. Never. Now, some of you might be thinking, hey, Christy, maybe you're barren. Well, first off, thanks for remembering my name. And secondly, maybe you're right. Maybe I can't have children. But I think it's probably due to a special technique I've developed for when a gentleman's making love at me. You see, when a gentleman's making love at you and he's promised to pull out, and we all know how gentlemen can be forgetful. Right before he's about to spill his seed into my chrysanthemum, water my rose garden, contort his face in a way that makes me grateful I have sex with my eyes closed. Right before that happens, I just yell, I want a baby! And just like that, every time, no baby, just a sticky back. But I didn't want to be a whore forever in Georgia. After university, I wanted to explore the world, but I didn't have a lot of money, so I was looking for a job I could do, and I found one in Japan, and the only requirement was to be a native English speaker. I'm like, that's me. But turns out they wanted me to teach English, and well, pronunciation is not my forte. So, but I took the job anyway. Sometimes I'm like, do people think I'm stupid there? But anyway, I took the job anyway, flew over there. I had a great time. And then one of my girlfriends, she's like, let me set you up with this Japanese fellow. I'm like, okay. So I met up with him, but turns out he didn't know any English, and I knew very little Japanese. So I was trying to think of things we could do. And I was like, biru for beer, and bukkake to see who the perverts are. It's not you. Okay, make sure don't Google that, okay? All right, you look so sweet, okay? All right, no, I didn't say bukkake. He didn't have that kind of money. I said karaoke, so we sang songs and drank, and at the end of the night, I gave him a kiss on the cheek, and then I went home, and then I didn't hear from him for 2 days, you guys, because he was busy learning some English to impress me with. Oh, I know, right? So 2 days later, I got a knock at the door, and I opened it up, and there he was, and he looked into it. Well, he looked at my tits, and then he looked into my eyes, and he said, sex. True story. Oh, man. And then from there, I ended up moving to Thailand via the Peace Corps. And if you don't know what the Peace Corps is, it's the USA's version of soft colonialism. So I was there. I had a great time while I was there. I stayed for a bit longer. And so I had friends that would come and visit me. But they got confused with some of the customs. I remember this one girlfriend, she was so excited to get a massage because back in the U.S., they're really expensive. So she went there and she picked out an aromatherapy massage. I told y'all pronunciation's not my forte. Anyway, she picked it out, and then the masseuse said, take off your clothes, and handed her a pouch and left the room. So my friend took off her clothes, she opened up the pouch, and inside was this piece of mesh cloth with 2 holes. And she held it up to her face, and she thought, I can breathe through this. So she put one hole on this ear, she spread the cloth across her face, put the other hole here, sat up naked on the bed. When the Thai masseuse came back in to see my friend wearing the disposable underwear on her face, she laughed so hard she called for the other Thai masseuse to come and see. Oh, my friend did not find that professional. Another thing they would get confused about is in the bathrooms, there's like a little water gun next to the toilet. Have any of you seen that before? Yeah? Okay, have you used it? Yeah, what do you do with it? Not successfully? Do you know that he doesn't do this successfully? That seems unfortunate. All right, we won't get more into that. All right, you can probably Google how to do it successfully. Well, my friends were like, is it to clean the floor? Is it to clean your feet? And I was like, no, it's to clean your secret garden areas. And they were like, oh. Well, how far in do you put it? All the way. That's what you're doing wrong. Oh. And then Japanese toilets. Who here has ever used a Japanese toilet? Of course you have. You own one, don't you? Oh my gosh, they're great though, right? They've got like a warm seat and not because someone's been there too long. And then there's that panel of buttons. They'll play music. It'll let out scents. However, with the cleaning, as a woman, I don't know if you have the same issue, but I find when I press the button to clean my flower, water shoots into my booty hole. And when I press the button to clean my booty hole, water shoots onto the small of my back, you know, where the gentleman finishes. And I started to worry, am I anatomically incorrect? Are Japanese female gardens more zenly placed on their body? And then I thought about it. Who's making these toilets? Japanese male engineers. And probably the closest they've gotten to the female anatomy is from the pixelated pornos they're watching. So they're just doing their best guesswork. Oh, man, but I loved Thailand. I loved going to the beaches, but not all the beaches were amazing. There was one that I went to and the water was kind of questionable, but I was like, whatever, I'm going to get in. So I'm swimming along when a diaper went floating by my face. And I was like, oh, that baby did not make it. Oh, man. But there is a lot going on in the world today that's rough, and that's why I think we need more pranks. And so I'm going to do you guys like pranks? Probably not. But I do, and I think what a fun... Are there any commercial airline pilots in here? No? Well, if anyone becomes one, here's a fun prank you can play. I think you should get on the announcements and say, we're going down, and then just land the plane. Or if you're a pilot in the USA, I think you should do all of the announcements in Arabic. Because of the racism. But be careful, because if there's a Southerner on board, they might try and jerk a knot in your tail depending on your genetic makeup. All right, I'm Christy. Thank you, guys.